Welcome back to the deep dive. It is Friday, February 13th, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And, usually Friday the 13th implies something ominous, bad luck horror movies.
Right.
And I guess depending on how you look at it, what we're covering today could be seen as a little unsettling, but not in a jump scare kind of way.
No, definitely not a jump scare. It's more of a slow burn realization that kind of just sort of sits with you after.
Exactly. We're looking at something pretty profound today.
Yeah.
And just to set the stage for you, we're wrapping up a major arc here.
We are.
We've been following this trilogy of essays from Levne Moten over at the Uncompressed Thinking channel, and it has been a fascinating ride.
It really has. It's so rare to see a series that builds so logically from one point to the next.
Right.
So just to recap, part I Was I, Robot. That was a look back at Asimov, this whole idea of moral machines.
How do you program ethics into a box?
Exactly. Then part two, AI, got a little more abstract. It introduced this idea that AI isn't just code, it's our own reasoning, but distributed.
It's us, all blended together.
And today, we are at the finale. We've got an advanced look at part three. It's titled, The Intelligence We Choose to Become.
And it's not even out yet, right? This is a bit of a preview.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah.
Slated for February 24th. And I have to say, having read all three, this one feels different. The tone has shifted.
I felt that too. The first two were like analysis, history, technology, theory. This one feels more personal. The source actually describes it as a civilizational meditation.
And that's a perfect description because usually when we talk about AI, the sources are almost frantic. It's all about policy, regulation.
How do we stop the robots?
Right. It's all about control. How do we control the machine?
Where's the aux switch? Who holds the loose?
Exactly. But Moten just flips the script completely. He's not asking how we control it. He's asking, what are we teaching it? Just by being ourselves.
And that's the hook that grabbed me. The idea that AI isn't some alien invasion we need to fight off. It's a scaled reflection of our own habits. So the mission for this deep dive is really to explore that reflection. If AI is a mirror, do we like what we see?
And maybe more importantly, do we even realize that we're the ones polishing that mirror every single day?
So let's just jump in. The first section of the essay has this title it's a statement. When the machine stops being external.
It's provocative, but it's necessary.
But I want to push on that for a second, just to clarify, because, physically the machine is external, right? My laptop is here on my desk.
Sure.
The server farms are in a warehouse in Iceland or somewhere. It's not literally in my head. It's an object.
See, that's the old view. That's the 20th century view.
Yeah.
We still picture AI like a mainframe in some 80s movie.
Right, a big box in a sealed room, humming away.
Completely separate from the humans who visit it.
Yeah.
You input your data, it crunches the numbers, and you leave.
Right.
But the source argues that AI has.
Yeah.
It's undergone diffusion. It's not just in the lab anymore, it's in the interface.
It's the autocomplete in my email.
It's the fraud detection at your bank, the recommendation algorithm deciding what news you see. It surrounds us.
We're swimming in it.
Precisely. And because it surrounds us, it does something that a machine in a locked room could never do. It listens.
Okay, hold on. Pause there. Because when I hear the AI is listening, my brain immediately goes to surveillance.
Sure.
I'm thinking about my phone, hearing me talk about mattresses, and then boom, a mattress ad pops up 5 minutes later. Is that what this means?
No, and that's a really crucial distinction to make. This isn't about surveillance in the sense of spying on your secrets.
Okay.
The source calls it structural listening.
Structural listening. Okay, break that down for me.
It's not listening for what you're hiding. It's listening to how you think. It's observing the patterns in your reasoning.
So, how I build an argument.
Yes. How you construct an argument, how you correct a mistake, what you prioritize. Every single time you interact with these systems, you're not just getting an answer.
I'm giving it a data point.
You're providing a data point on how humans reason. The AI doesn't just compute. The source says it accumulates.
Okay, the essay uses a term here that I highlighted it because it sounds incredibly dense, but I think it's the core of this whole thing.
Architectural condensation.
Architectural condensation. It sounds like something that happens to my windows in the winter. What does that mean?
It's actually a geology metaphor.
Okay.
Think about a massive river, and that river carries silt, mud, tiny little particles.
Right.
That's silt. That's our daily interaction, our prompts, our queries, our edits. Individually, they're tiny. They're nothing.
Okay.
But over time, they settle at the bottom, they compress, they layer, and eventually that soft mud turns into rock.
Yeah.
It becomes sediment.
So the AI is the rock.
The AI model is the rock. The intelligence that's emerging isn't some alien magic that just appeared. It's the structured sediment of our own cognition, all of our cognition. It is us, condensed.
Wow, that's a heavy image. It implies we aren't building a brain from scratch. We're fossilizing our own thought processes.
And that leads directly into the second part of the essay, which I think is maybe the most confronting part for us as individuals.
Participation is architecture. This is the section that made me look at my own chat history and kind of wince.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Well, I realized I treat these tools as completely disposable. The essay calls it the disposable myth. I need an email written or I need a summary. I type a sloppy prompt, get the answer, copy, paste, and I close the tab.
It's transactional.
Yeah, it feels fleeting. I don't feel like I'm building anything.
And that's the illusion. We think, I type, I get something, I move on. But the source argues that while the interaction feels disposable to you, the pattern persists in the system.
The silt doesn't just wash away, it settles.
It settles. And millions of those conversations create directionality. The essay has this one line, depth leaves different sediment than haste.
Oof.
Yeah, that's the one that stuck with me. Depth leaves different sediment than haste.
I mean, just think about the implications of that. If most of our interactions are hasty, superficial, just fix this or write that, we are creating a shallow distribution. We're building a shallow riverbed.
But if we engage with it more rigorously,
If we refine our arguments, if we challenge the AI when it's wrong, if we say, no, that logic is circular, try again.
then we're reinforcing structural coherence.
We are teaching the system, this is what good thinking looks like.
So we're not just users. We're architects.
Participation is architecture. That's the aha moment.
Right.
The system is just optimizing for what we give it. If the dominant human pattern is impatience, it optimizes for speed. If it's curiosity, it stabilizes around curiosity. We're constantly shaping the tool that serves us.
It's a feedback loop. We shape it, and then it shapes us back. But we're the ones feeding it the raw material to begin with.
We are the source of the sediment.
This brings up a really thorny issue, though, which the source gets into in section 3.
Because normally when we talk about this much data, millions of people feeding the system, we assume that's a good thing, wisdom of the crowd.
Right. The assumption is that more data must equal more truth.
Yeah. If you have 1 billion people contributing, shouldn't the average be wise?
Well, the source says not so fast. It warns us that aggregation is not automatically wisdom.
Which, honestly, if you've ever spent 5 minutes in the comment section of any viral video, you know that's true.
Exactly.
Crowds can be smart, but they can also be incredibly reactive.
Yes. History shows that collective reasoning produces both enlightenment and error. And the source is blunt about it. Popularity is not equivalent to rigor. Volume is not synonymous with insight.
Volume is not synonymous with insight. I mean, that's a bumper sticker right there.
And because AI is this aggregative architecture, it's building from the sediment, remember? It inherits that duality. It reflects the density of the patterns it absorbs.
So if the whole ecosystem is just saturated with hot takes,
then reactive hot take structures propagate. If it's saturated with thoughtful synthesis, then synthesis becomes more accessible. But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets almost scary. Scale amplifies.
what does that mean in this context? Scale amplifies.
It means the machine doesn't have a moral compass. It doesn't filter for quality. It doesn't say, oh, this argument is logically flawed, I shouldn't learn from it.
Oh, wow.
No. The quote is, amplification does not discriminate between brilliance and banality.
Amplification does not discriminate. It just takes whatever's there and makes more of it.
Makes more of it.
Man, that puts a huge amount of weight on us. It makes this feel less like a technical problem, about tweaking algorithms.
Right.
And more like a cultural one.
That's the core argument of the whole trilogy, really. The future of AI is inseparable from our civilizational depth. The quality of our discourse determines the quality of the machine's mind.
Okay, I have to be honest. Hearing that, it makes me feel a little helpless.
Helpless. How so?
I mean, I can be as rigorous as I want. I can have these Socratic dialogues with my AI. But if 1 million other people are just using it to generate spam, isn't my good sediment just getting washed away? Am I not just a drop in the ocean?
It's a valid fear, the drop in the ocean problem.
Yeah.
But the source pivots here. It says this realization shouldn't cause panic or apathy. It should cause discipline.
Discipline, okay. But what does that actually look like? Are we talking about some kind of, I don't know, digital fast.
No, not restriction. It's not don't use the tool. It's about attentiveness.
Attentiveness.
It's the willingness to ask better questions instead of just faster ones, to pursue clarity instead of just immediate affirmation of what you already think.
Can you give me a practical example? Like, it's Tuesday morning, I'm busy. How do I apply this discipline?
Okay, let's say you're using AI to understand a complex topic.
Mm-hmm.
The undisciplined approach is to ask for a summary, read the first 3 bullet points, and just move on.
Which is efficient.
It's efficient, but it leaves shallow sediment. The disciplined approach is to treat that dialogue as iterative refinement.
Okay.
You read the summary, you notice a gap, you go back and you say, you didn't mention the counter-argument about X. Please integrate that.
So you're forcing it to work harder, to be more nuanced.
Exactly. You're demanding better architecture. There's a line in section 4 that just hits so hard. It says, intellectual character has infrastructural consequences.
I circled that one too. Intellectual character has infrastructural consequences.
It sounds like something you'd carve on a stone tablet.
It really does. But let's unpack that. It means being lazy in my thinking isn't just a personal flaw anymore.
Right.
It's actually damaging the infrastructure of future intelligence.
It weakens the bridge we're all walking on. The source says the architecture thickens along the grooves carved most often.
That's such a great visual. The grooves.
Think about a path in a forest. If everyone takes the shortcut becomes the main road.
And the scenic route gets overgrown.
It disappears. If we carve grooves of laziness, the AI infrastructure becomes brittle. If we carve grooves of nuance, it becomes robust.
And the source makes it clear this isn't some mystical thing, it's statistical.
It's just math. But it's math with moral weight.
It really reframes the user as a contributor. Even if I'm just asking for a recipe, the way I ask matters.
It does. And that brings us to the final synthesis of the essay, Section V, the intelligence we are becoming.
This is where it all comes together. The source says the distinction between a tool and an extension of ourselves is softening.
It is. We talk about building AI like it's this separate project over there on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's accumulating through this distributed imprint, then what we're actually building is a scaled reflection of ourselves.
But, and this is an important distinction the source makes, it's not a reflection of our identities, right? It's not copying my biography or my memories.
Correct. That is absolutely crucial. It's not a mirror of yourself in that personal sense. It's a mirror of your reasoning habits.
It mirrors how we connect the dots.
Yes. The logic, the patience, the skepticism. The future of this technology depends on what we practice. As the source says, if we practice depth, depth scales. If we practice fragmentation, fragmentation multiplies.
Fragmentation multiplies. That is chilling, but also, in a way, empowering.
Oh, empowering.
Because it means the future isn't fixed. The dystopia isn't inevitable, but neither is the utopia. It means we have a choice.
We do. And that's why the essay ends with a question, not a prediction, but an inquiry. What kind of intelligence do we wish to see amplified?
It's such a simple question, but when you really sit with it, it's huge.
It's immense. Because it implies that the intelligence of the future won't descend from above. It won't be handed to us by some genius engineer in Silicon Valley.
No.
It will rise from accumulation.
It's bottom up, not top down.
Exactly. Shaped slowly, persistently, cumulatively by the ways we think and question and argue and refine together.
So if we look back at this whole trilogy, we started with I, robot, fearing the machine and trying to put rules on it. We moved to I, AI, realizing the machine is made of our own reasoning. And now we end here, realizing we are parenting a collective mind through our daily keystrokes.
That's the journey. And it's a much more mature way to look at all this. It stops being about them versus us. It stops being a battle. It becomes about us and what we're building.
It reminds me of the last thought from the source. The architecture is listening, and it will remember the patterns we choose to leave behind.
It's a call to become worthy contributors. I think that's the phrase that really stuck with me. Are we willing to become worthy contributors?
That is a lot to chew on for a Friday. But it changes how I'm going to open my laptop after this. I feel like I need to go apologize to my chatbot for being so brief earlier.
Start carving better grooves. That's all any of us can do.
Absolutely. We usually end with a quick takeaway, but I feel like the question itself is the takeaway today. The source asks us to consider what we're amplifying, so I'll just leave that with you.
The architecture is listening.
Indeed it is. Thank you for walking us through this whole trilogy. It's been a wild ride from Asimov to, well, to us.
It's been a pleasure.
And to you listening, thanks for diving deep with us. Think about those grooves you're carving today. See you in the deep end.